Welcome back. This is part 3 of what is growth hacking, and we are now at the hacking part. If you haven't seen part 1 and part 2, please have a look at the playlist. It should come up soon somewhere. If you want to have a look at our website, then you should be also able to click somewhere at the top. Now, for all of you who don't know, or even if you do know, my background is in computer science. I write to mobile applications for Android. So this part is interesting to me. This is the most interesting part of digital marketing, and that's being able to discover and find features, digital features that can help growth. But the term growth hacking, I guess, has become sort of very popular because the term hacking itself has become very popular in the cultural sense. Everything is hacking now. Life hacking, something else hacking, this hacking, that hacking. But essentially what hacking means is finding a rough way to to do a task. So sort of breaking it up in very chunks and hack, the traditional hack. But in the digital sense, hacking refers to the way to finding new ways to gain unauthorized or unwanted entry into a digital system for the purposes of accessing its data by way of understanding the algorithms used to create the system. Hacking in general can be broken down into these categories. So essentially what that means is you're trying to use what you already have in ways that it may not have been intended. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's wrong or illegal or bad or whatever. In fact, that's one of the things that get growth hackers excited, is the fact that they have found a way to distribute information, get information, share, copy, whatever information in a way that's effective, that's legal, obviously, and that uses systems uses the platforms or the systems in ways that other people haven't actually discovered yet or don't know how to use. So that's really the crux of the growth hacking aspect as a job. So these are the categories in traditional hacking. Exploiting functionality in ways it was not intended to be used, which is what I just said. Later on in the next slide, I will show you examples of that in terms of that refers specifically to social media and digital media. In the traditional sense, it would have been something like, well, I'll go back later on because I can't think of any traditional exploits now other than, just injecting some code into a web page and so that it redirects to another web page that's not yours, and that's exploiting the functionality of the PHP, usually the PHP servers, so in ways that it was not intended to be used. So forced entry by cracking password and encryption, that's obviously the traditional hacking that everybody knows about. Oh, let's get in and type away and find a password. Oh, look at that. It uses things like brute force, which is not so popular now. There's lots of systems in place to stop that. But cracking passwords and forced entry still happen quite regularly, and usually because they're exploiting functionality in ways that it was not intended to be used. Exploiting human operator error and behavior. So that might be harder to understand because what it means is things like understanding how people use emails, for instance, and phishing for information by exploiting the human's inability to determine the difference between what is secure and insecure information in a computer. A computer has more chance of knowing what's secure and insecure information than a human operator generally. But the most interesting part about hacking is avoiding detection, because avoiding detection means you can continue to use the systems and methodology that you've discovered for an unknown period of time until it has been fixed or you have been stopped. So in digital marketing, hacking takes a similar but less technical role and focuses mainly on distributing data rather than collecting it. So that's essentially the difference. In the original traditional hacking sense, Hackers want to access the information so they can have data that doesn't belong to them, so they can use it in some way, like financial information or identity theft, that sort of thing. But in digital marketing, what you're trying to do is actually find ways of getting information out to people rather than stealing their information. So that's really the core difference in how you approach the hacking aspect of growth hacking. So here's some examples. Digital marketing hacking examples. Forcing a user to look at your content by tagging them in a picture where they don't appear. This is an exploit of the tagging functionality, which is being used in a way in which it was not intended. So if you have a look at tagging, it's supposed to be, Facebook does a certain degree of automated face recognition so that it can tag you automatically in a photograph. If you have that switched on, you can switch that off. But you can tag anything or anyone as long as an actual registered user or group or whatever of that platform. You can generally not tag, you can't type just anything in there. You can't tag something that doesn't exist on the platform, because the idea of tagging is to be able to help you share information quicker and for the platform to know who to serve your content to, because in case you didn't know, you will not get all of the information that is meant for you from any other platforms. It's just too much information, and they will color for you based on certain criteria. They're all different. But that is one where you can tag. For instance, I tag my shop name in my picture instead of myself. So something like that. Liking and sharing to get likes and shares back. That technically is a hacking example because it's being used in a way it wasn't intended. So if I'm liking something just for the sake of getting a like back, and in fact actually a lot of platforms discourage that, and it's in the terms and conditions that you can't really do that, because it essentially is a false growth, or false, it's manipulating numbers really, and it makes it very difficult for them to do any worthwhile and meaningful analysis if you skew numbers that way. Same with sharing. If you share something just for the sake of sharing it, so somebody shares it back, I mean that doesn't mean you can't do it, or that there's anything wrong with liking something or sharing something just because you like it and share it, even if you know that it's going to result in somebody sharing the same content back. And sometimes you might share something just to share something back, but that doesn't mean you don't like it and you weren't going to share it. It just means you bothered to share it. So again, this is like a hacking sort of mentality. Email phishing to get passwords and hijack accounts. Human error. This is the human error exploit I was mentioning before. So we don't want anything from you, but as long as you give us your emails, you can have this. Or can you do us a survey, but can you give us your email? Do you want to enter this competition, but can we have your email? That is technically a sort of a growth hacking example, because its intention is not to get a survey from you. Its intention is not to really enter you in a competition. Its intention is not really to give you free content. Its intention is to get your email. That's the most common one. If you don't know it, that's it. You do now. Don't worry, I'm not giving any real secrets away, believe it or not. These are just, things you will discover if you are technologically inclined. These are things you probably would discover yourself anyway. Alright, so I'm going to have to break for part 4. Have a look at the playlist, have a look at the website if you don't want to go on, but the next part will be digital marketing. Oh no, this is it. This is digital marketing examples. So signing up with stolen false information to spam and avoid being permanently banned, not recommended. Buying followers and comments to gain credibility and initial traction. Yeah, that's a big no-no. But you know what? You'll find that most of the popular accounts all have done this at some point. All of them. Every single one of them, even from major corporations. Numbers do talk, and unfortunately, a large proportion of numbers are bought. So thank you very much. Again, have a look at my website, and I'll be talking to you later. Growth hacking!